Hello, water signs. Mel Bell here with your reading for the month of September for Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So I pulled some cards for the sake of time. We'll get us started. Please do like, share, subscribe, tell a friend about this channel. Let me know that you are enjoying the content so that I know to keep bringing it. And thanks in advance. Also, I guess not also, let's just dig in. Okay, so what I'm gathering initially is that we definitely have the need for balance in September. So water signs, there's a need for balance between your active life, should it be work, things that you want to achieve, goals, and your feelings, your heart, creativity, joy, like balancing all the things together, doing the things that make you happy and feed your soul, and doing things that make you money and physically feed you, you know. There is a need to get those things into balance so that you are more effortlessly pivoting from one to the other. So we can't always have it where this thing feeds us and it feeds our soul. So we just need this one thing. It's great when it happens, but it doesn't always happen. And so that's where you have to balance. You have to find balance. And so I pulled in the situation, the Two of Pentacles, and it just really seems to me, it just also talks more about that, about things are vying for your attention. More than one thing is needing your attention, and it's in the realm of the physicality of your life, being your health, work, finances, abundance of things going on. It's interesting. I hadn't seen that before, that this guy is also standing on a seesaw. So definitely when temperance comes in, it is definitely about balance and trying to get all the things to harmonize and work together. So this is telling me that this is not a month where you're going to be seeing things that you need to let go of. More so, how do you get these things to be harmonious in your life? So maybe right now one thing is pulling you away from the other thing. There's not enough time for this one thing that you really enjoy doing. How can you move things around in order to make more time and make more balance in your life? And especially if the incoming energy with the Knight of Cups wanting to bring that to you, wanting you to enjoy yourself maybe a little more, and wanting you to embrace creativity, new relationships, partnerships, friendships. And there's also like a renewal of a partnership or friendship, maybe an old friend from the past coming back. But this can also talk about the inner child. It could be talking about healing for yourself. I'm also getting the feeling that there is a balance needing to be struck with being very on guarded, and serious, and protecting yourself from people, needing to be balanced with being vulnerable and open to the right people. And it takes courage to be vulnerable, and it takes courage to put yourself out there to find those people and find those connections. And maybe those connections are already in your life. They've already presented themselves to you, and you just haven't fully opened to that yet. So however that shows up in your life, there is a big message to be careful that you are not being overly guarded or heavy. I feel like some past hurts and hard learned lessons may be coloring your experience now and telling you, dictating what the future is going to look like in the way of connections with other people. And it doesn't always have to be that way. It's not always going to be that way. Sometimes we have different experiences with people we have not met yet. And when I say we have not met yet, I mean that we have not been, we haven't known in past lives. There's not all this karma that needs to be sorted out between us before we can get to a good place. It will not always be that way. Sometimes people come into our lives and we connect on a very clean, grasping for the word, like we cross the threshold with no past karma, no baggage between us energetically. And so we can just enjoy each other. So I feel like that's very possible in the month of September. You have two kings coming up that also had me thinking about that, for them to be one on top of the other, one as the near future card and one as the wild card. So the wild card was the King of Cups, and then the near future is the King of Swords. And it's like definitely this balance of the heart and the mind, and how that can express itself in work and home life and the things you have on your plate, as well as the way that you're approaching the world. So sometimes it is important to be making good decisions, right? But we can make decisions from the heart. We just have to touch that heart center. We have to understand the heart center. Can make really good decisions for us, but it's not tied up in our emotions that might be tied into the past and trauma and past experiences that weren't good, things like that. That's not the true heart center. That is a reflection of our physical experience. Yeah, so I don't want to go too deep into that because it's kind of esoteric. But yeah, there's something there where you can balance your heart and your mind and get them to work together harmoniously. So I would say that the key for September is harmonious balance. Now, that tarot deck is the Everyday Witch Tarot by Deborah Blake, and we're going to pull from the Sacred Forest Oracle by Denise Lynn, and we're also gonna pull from the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron Reed. So let's see what we can add to this reading from the Sacred Forest Oracle. First, here we go. Yeah, so the crystal cave, trust. Okay, so I like this deck because it just gives us an anchor, right? So for you, I do feel like this is talking about trusting your inner self, your intuitive self, clearing your aura, taking a salt bath, working with your crystals, cleansing your crystals, maybe holding an amethyst or an iolite, even straight quartz, to clear your mind and your intuition, and trust your intuition. And sometimes you have to get to a place where your mind and heart are harmonious to be able to define your intuition and not be fooled thinking it's your intuition when it's really fear. Dragonfly spirit, I don't know about you, but where I'm at, the dragonflies are all over the place right now. And so this one says change. Also, dragonfly spirit helps us to see past illusion. So again, seeing past illusion of love and fear, and seeing the truth of the matter, of any situation going on in your life right now. Getting your intuition clear is what's going to help you get through it. And storm spirit, chaos. So I had mentioned this in the weekly angel reading, and I do think that this is about our natural weather patterns this month in September, that we're going to maybe see a little more fluctuations in the weather, and to be prepared, but also keeping in mind that sometimes chaos is a natural force in the universe. There's a lot of forces in the universe. This is one of them. Sometimes it can be not good, and it can make things really messy, but sometimes chaos is needed to break things up and to make room for new. So even like a really destructive storm can make space for new growth in a forest. For example, a roaring fire provides carbon to the dirt. So there's things that chaos brings that can actually help. So in this case, in this combination of cards, I feel like it's definitely talking about storms coming, storms approaching, but in your spirit and yourself, trying to rein in chaotic situations, things that seem to want to get erratic. You are trying to keep things balanced, okay? So where is this energy trying to come in and throw everything around? And it's expressing itself maybe in the way that you're having to juggle more than one thing at a time. So really looking at it, seeing where it's at, instead of allowing chaos to just toss you to and fro, asking yourself, where is it? Using that energy of your mind, that intellect, your wisdom, to see where is it that I can tweak this to make it more harmonious. Okay, so from Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, go ahead and see what they have to say here by Colette Baron Reed. There are a lot of stones that are intuitive in nature. You might have one. If you don't collect crystals, if you don't have crystals, you can always do this with your eyes closed. This is where your third eye is, and you can kind of just get it revved up, almost like a car. You're stimulating that chakra, okay? And you don't need crystals to take a salt bath, for example. And whatever practices that you do to increase your intuition, to get yourself centered and grounded. You can do that through meditation and yoga as well. All right, here we go. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay, so the altar priestess pops up. Preparation, prayer, and sacred ritual. So where is your power? Because your power doesn't have to be my power, doesn't have to be someone else's power. You tap into it, how it's going to help you most, okay? And find out where that is. You should be able to reflect on the past and see where your jam is. Like what what is the best way for you to approach your spirituality. And if you feel lost and you don't have a basis for it in the past, then this is great for you, because you can touch all the things and see what calls to you. So anybody can be spiritual. Everybody has an inner power, has a way of expressing that, that is what can fuel you and help you through anything. And so that could be in prayer. It could be in journaling. And journaling sometimes isn't about writing down how your day went and you're upset about that, but you could be writing how grateful you are for what has happened, or what you want to do better at, where you want to grow. So it's your own personal thing, you guys. Make sure that you are allowing space for uniqueness. Now, the Desert Prince is survival and false promises. So really watch out for fear in September. Watch out for people wanting to spin a story and make you feel like they know the truth. There will be some deception in September. Actually feeling like it's not in your personal life, and in the media, and just not getting caught up in all that mess. Watching out for chaotic energy in September, and also not falling prey to lack. So if you're needing to make choices and give things your energy, make sure that you're not giving your energy to things out of fear of lack. Make sure that you are allowing, because the more balance you have between things, the more things grow and thrive. Okay, so if you give all your attention to the thing that makes the money, your heart is going to suffer. For example, your relationships might suffer, and you might be like, well, I need to risk that for this, but there is a way for everything to be harmonized. And Spiral Dancer, circuitous route perception. Things happen in cycles, in circles and spirals. So what goes around comes around. And that's with karma, but it's also with, like, sometimes you'll be in a place of introspection, and sometimes it's time for you to be out and about with people. So whatever your spirit is saying to you, allow that to come to you, allow that to be. And, allow your perception to align with the universe and align with the powers that be, the higher power as you see it, because that's where the truth is. So if you're watching things and you're not sure, this is where you need to be. This is where you need to get your information from, is anything that you are hearing, reading, seeing. Check with your intuition and see if it's the truth for you. Okay, because there are multiple truths existing in the world. And actually, I just pulled one more card. There are multiple truths existing in the world. It's not for everybody. They all kind of harmonize the higher up you go. On an esoteric tip, like, in our physical reality, it is hard to see things that more than one thing can be true at the same time. But when you go up higher, you see that they all are connected and can be harmonious. Now, that's not to say there are no lies, because there is illusion. Okay, so don't fall prey to illusion. And I pulled the Ice Queen. So sometimes it talks about non-action. Sometimes it says ideas persevered, right? Non-action. So sometimes what what is happening beneath the surface and we don't see it. So we don't think anything's happening, but there can be a lot of things happening. And that's really true for like winter time, because everything's under the snow, symbolically speaking. And so, but there's still life. There's still things going on. It just might be quieter, and it might be, it might take more attention and focus to see. And sometimes we are integrating what we have learned. So there are times of lull that we feel. It does not mean that nothing's going on. It just means that right now there is a need for that time for integration. So that message, I feel like, may only be for a few people, because I do feel like September is a very active month, and there's a lot that's going to go on, and calls for your balance between your heart and your mind, and joy and work. Sometimes work can be joyful, but sometimes it's like duty, and you accept that this has to be done, right? But you can insert gratitude into that you have that to produce money and your finances improve. So you can put joy in it in that way, but also by focusing on things that are about joy and pleasure and harmonizing that and bringing that into balance. You are you're working with a fuller tank if you're making sure you have balance between the two. Okay, so that's everything for you guys. I hope that you have a great September, water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, and I will see you in a month. Bye.